Hello there, and welcome to this special show with a very special guest right here in Sri Lanka from, let's get right to it to introduce our guest, Mr. Jayantha Silva. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi.
So, Mr. Jayantha Silva, a little bit of an introduction about our guest. He is a well-renowned artist, but there is a speciality about this artist. We will learn about that as we go on in today's show. First things first, Mr. Jayantha, I'd like to ask you, how did this all begin? When did this all begin, more importantly?
Well, probably, I can't remember. I mean, since I was a very young kid, it would have started because all I know is my Montessori report card says that I was excellent in art, but it's unfortunate that I don't draw on paper and I only draw on the walls and floors. So the excellent part came obviously because I would have been good. And even otherwise, there was a person who wrote about me, what you call something like astrology.
Okay.
When I was born, I was born on Vesak Poya Day.
Okay.
And this Buddhist priest who was, when my mother was pregnant, he used to come and visit his sister who was also pregnant. But he was quite disappointed when his sister didn't give birth on the Vesak Poya Day, but my mother did. But then he came and spoke to my mother and said, do me a big favor, I wish if you can call your child Jayantha. So actually it was Buddha Jayanti Day.
Okay.
That's why the Jayantha part came.
Okay.
And my mother and I was both in the family, they were not so bothered about finding names.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he wrote a little book, and it says a lot of things, but main thing was that how did he know that I was going to be an artist? He mentioned that I'll be an
artist one day in your life.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a story written in the stars.
Yeah, in the stars. Yeah, correct.
So since then, since your childhood, you have been akin to art. You have been close to art.
Yeah.
But when did this really kickstart? When did people start actually seeing the artist within you?
Well, I was always, in school, I went to St. Peter's College, Bambalapitiya, and I am well known as an artist. Even in school, everybody is called that the artist is coming or something like that. Well, I was always, from childhood, I was only drawing and, not that bothered about the rest of the studies and things like that.
The rest of the curriculum at school.
Yeah. And so, always, when I sit at a table, if I get a paper and I'm drawing something. And even in school, at the class, very often I'll draw the faces of the teachers. And sometimes
and how
I
accurate
get
did they come out? Did they come out accurately?
Very good. Because now, for instance, now in these newspapers, and you get
cartoons.
Not cartoons, the children's drawings.
Okay.
Now, say between 8 and 12 years old, a child, and I'm not criticizing. I was far superior than that. Okay. I should have actually gone into art seriously at that time because, for instance, I did my first nude, right, at a time that nobody is able to see a picture of a nude.
Okay.
So it's through imagination. I used to just picture this part should be like this part should be like that, and when I was about 14 or 15 years old, I would have been able to see something in a picture or something like that. Unlike today, you can see pictures
everywhere.
Yeah. And I wasn't wrong. I call it I was a lot of eyeballing.
Okay.
And that was one of my the one of the main reasons for my talent was eyeballing, because I used to when you go on the road, I notice lots and lots of things, but other people notice. For instance, sometimes when I come up a staircase, at the end of it, I counted how many stairs there were. I don't think you would have
very
done
attentive.
That. Yeah, so it's very observant. I was very observant.
The only time that I did that was when I had to climb stairs in school. So I'd remember how many stairs I have to climb.
Right,
I'd be like, wow, I have to climb 100 stairs every day.
Yeah.
So maybe once or twice, but then not as attentively as this. So from what you've told me, it's quite clear that you had a born talent for art. How far did you study the subject of art?
Well, first, before I come to the second answer, first answer, I don't believe anybody being a born artist. Because I think you're born with a tremendous amount of confidence, right? So you can be a born singer. I mean, if you have a terrible voice, you can't sing.
You can't sing.
Yeah, but art is something that I would like to tell the public also. It's nothing to do with you are born like that. It is just that you have a tremendous amount of confidence. Now, if you say that, if I ask you something and you will say, you might say later on even, that I can't draw even a straight line.
Yes.
Right. Now, that is immediately you lost your confidence. So that's what I would like to say. And what's the second question?
So I'd like to know exactly how much have you studied the subject of art?
Well, nothing.
Nothing? So all of these pictures that we see behind are just you?
Yeah. I haven't studied the subject. For instance, in school we had art classes.
Did you follow the subject of art even in school?
Unlike today's schools, they really teach art. But at that, when I was young, unfortunately, they never taught art. You know, now today they teach you how to do shading, how to do, they bring little wooden models and, you know, things like that.
They go into theoretical aspects like the history of art and so on and so forth.
Nothing.
Nothing at the time, no?
No, nothing. For that matter, I still don't know much of the history. Yeah. And it was, and there was an unfortunate thing, like, I don't know whether it's correct saying, but very often I was better than my teacher in school. So, and I was very naughty.
It's an unusual place to be in.
Sorry?
I said that's an unusual position to be in.
Yeah. And I used to always get 100 out of 100. And without doing anything. Without drawing.
So I think it'll be safe to call you a child prodigy.
Probably. I mean, everybody was asked to draw, a cricket match or a sea beach or something, but I don't. But I get my 100.
What did you draw?
I didn't do anything. Probably I draw something what I want. Or maybe I draw the teacher's face or something like that.
So you've had a very interesting childhood, a very interesting relationship with the subject of art in your childhood. But when did it really kick off? When did you draw your first official drawing?
Like this, I had drawn quite a lot of drawings, paintings and things like that. Unfortunately, I don't, while I was a child, unfortunately I don't have anything with me right now. But then when I left school, I thought the artists have no future. I thought artist becomes rich only after he or she is dead and gone. Right?
When their paintings are being auctioned off.
Exactly. Right. And what happened was I thought of the second best thing. I went into commercial art. Right, that was in advertising. So then I was in advertising. I was doing everything like, client servicing, a little bit of commercial art and, debt collecting and, all those things in it. I wanted to go on that line. And eventually I started my own company in advertising. And at a time of official depression, or whether you call it that or not, I don't know. I thought I must try my hand on my childhood love.
Okay.
That's art. So I tried out, and I showed you the painting, no?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that was a mother and child. I called it Rwanda, in poverty, and that was it. I mean, I was shocked that the artist in me has stuck on for such 20 years.
Has been dormant inside of you.
Yeah, dormant inside me, and I started. Then there was no stopping me. Mainly, it didn't stop me, not mainly because of the art part of it. It was like a meditation. I like.
It is where you find peace.
Find absolute peace.
Okay.
Like, a billionaire can't buy that satisfaction you get. So then every week I started doing some painting, and finally when I came to about 5th or 6th painting, a lot of my friends also encouraged me, and I went. I want to have a exhibition.
Okay.
So then I went. I got the following year. I had that was in 2003. Was my first exhibition at the Lionel went.
Okay.
And it was also very, very encouraging because about 2/3 of my paintings went.
Were sold off.
Sold off.
Okay.
And out of those paintings, only 2 guys were known to me.
Okay.
So I mean, you can say that my paintings, when my friends and relations, they bought it.
You can't say that.
No. So that encouraged me a lot. So then, no turning back, every year I had an exhibition.
So this first exhibition that you held, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for it? What was the theme that you held the exhibition under?
Yeah, the theme was expressions.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually, I asked my wife. I was having a name called Impressions.
Okay.
But then she told me, why are you going to call it expressions? Your paintings are absolutely only expressions, which I also agreed.
Okay. So these are all human portrayals?
More the portraits and figurative art it was.
Okay.
And I mean, there were certain paintings, I remember there was one painting called Gossip.
Okay.
And the person was turning the other way around with the hand on the hip,
Okay.
a lady. And I called it Gossip. But it's amazing that even without looking at that person's face, you were able to see what kind of expression that person had. I mean, you must see it to understand it.
To understand it, exactly.
Yeah.
And this is not just an understanding that you can acquire by one glance. You have to look at it for quite some time to understand the painting exactly.
Yeah.
So what, besides the fact that you find peace in drawing and in doing what you love, of course, that's what everyone does, where do you find the inspiration for this?
Well, the inspiration is actually inside my mind, right? I probably, sometimes it's a photographic memory that I have.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a photographic memory that's got into my inner mind and stuck on for a long time.
Okay.
Because basically very often what I do is I take the pencil and I just scribble.
Okay.
Not really scribbling, but just going over this, and then it tells me what to draw.
Okay.
And another amazing thing is, before I draw something, I very often see the finished product.
Okay.
So it's easy for me to draw it continue like that because I've already seen what I'm going to draw.
So these are exclusive information, because unless you are yourself an artist, you wouldn't know what runs in the mind of an artist at the time that he is drawing, where he finds his inspiration from, and how exactly does he finish off that beautiful piece of art on that piece of sheet within that period of time. You'd never know. So we are in conversation with Jayantha Silva, of course, quite an eminent artist, as you can see from his works here that sit right beside us. We will be back after this short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with more interesting information from this amazing personality. So welcome back to the show. Of course, if you joined us before, you would know that we are in conversation with a beautiful person, an artist of all people, Jayantha Silva. Let's get back right to the conversation. Mr. Jayantha, of course, it's a beautiful feeling when you have someone purchase your work of art, your hard work, your sweat and blood. Among the clients that you've sold to, how did it feel like selling your first piece of art?
I think the selling my first piece of art was the painting I called Rwanda, which was bought by also a relation of mine from Malaysia. It was, the feeling that that my paintings can fetch money, right? Was great. I mean, that gave me a lot of encouragement. Although I don't very much care to, I always like to have my own paintings with myself. It's like my children. But
you're a bit selfish.
Sorry?
You're a bit selfish.
Yeah. So it was a tremendous feeling when I started. When people offered money and they sold, and in fact, I had an exhibition at the Lighthouse Hotel.
Okay.
By invitation, and the Sri Lanka Tea Board chairman has seen my paintings there, and they contacted me and told me whether I would like to do a painting, a huge one that was about 6 meters by 3 meters, and I was happy. I said okay, and I had to give a small visual of what it's going to look like. But later on I found out I'm not the only person who has been asked to do this. There were 5 others, and all 5 were either known or well known or famous artists from Sri Lanka.
Okay.
But I was very happy, at least I was chosen to do this, even if I don't get the job. But I was happier when I got the job.
Okay.
And which I had to draw a tea estate with a lady in front having a sip of tea. And and then they gave me asked me how much I wanted. So I didn't know. I quickly called one of my friend of mine. I was in Rotary, and I called him, and he was very much into art and things like that.
Okay.
And he told me, Jayantha, 2.5 lakhs or nothing. I thought, hell, this is too much. You were
surprised?
I was surprised. I said, are you lucky? Are you sure? He said, yes, definitely, don't do anything less than that.
Okay.
So I told, when I went there, I told the tea board, I said, I want 2.5 lakhs. So they immediately said, can you give a quotation? They typed the quotation themselves and got me to sign and give it. And then...
So this was around which year?
2003.
2003, okay.
Yeah, the 1.5 lakhs was quite a lot then.
Back then, yes, exactly.
Yeah. So what, 14 years, 15 years? Yeah. And they got and they gave me an advance of 50% and asked me to start on the job. And I started on the job, and I'm talking about confidence. I'm not a scenery artist.
Okay.
I won't say I'm not a scenery, I'm not a lover of scenery art. And I couldn't find a canvas mounted big enough for that size.
Okay.
So it took me 1 week. Apparently they gave me only 1 month to do the painting. And then next week, I was just looking at the blank canvas and waiting. I didn't know what to do, where to start. So the 3rd week, I went to a corner and just counted 100 backwards and thought and told myself, I'm the best, I can do it. And I did it. And I did it, they were very happy. And also, not only I did it, I had to do a professional job.
Okay.
And
Because that was what was expected of you.
yeah.
And so this would have been around the time that you had your first exhibition in the year 2003.
Yeah.
So how far has your career progressed in the field of art since then?
Very much. Now, I mean.
More than you would have imagined?
Definitely. Now, I've been accepted by a lot of places like George Heath Foundation, and a lot of places like they know me
By name.
by name.
So
Not
this
only
year,
Sri Lanka.
So this year it will be your 15th exhibition. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
What can people expect? First things first, when is the exhibition, if you can give our viewers a bit of details?
It's on the 23rd, 24th and 25th of November. 23rd is a preview in the evening at 6 o'clock. And
At the location?
At the Lionel Wendt Art Gallery.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what can the people expect at this 15th exhibition that you are holding?
Well, people who have already been to my exhibitions, and invariably there are lots and lots of people who keep coming over and over again. They of course expect something new,
Okay.
which I am definitely having new, because fortunately or unfortunately for me, people who come for one exhibition, they come 1 year after, they remember every single painting that I had done.
So that goes on to show the amount of influence that your paintings have had
Yeah,
on
so
their
that's why I
lives.
said fortunately or unfortunately. Unfortunately, probably I can't show it again,
Okay.
Yeah, but which I do some. Because there are a lot of people who are coming for the first time.
Coming
also.
anew,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, and so there's a thing for instance, the fortunate thing for abstract artists, I suppose, he'll have a painting. Right, next day he turns the painting upside down and it becomes another one. So I haven't that facility.
Okay, you don't have that luxury.
I haven't got that luxury.
So what was your inspiration? What is the inspiration behind this 15th exhibition? Now you've done this quite a lot in your life.
Yeah.
Can you pinpoint to
Inspiration
something?
in the sense, well, I call my first exhibition Expressions. So it's still, the theme is expressions. Every year I have expressions 2, 3, 4, like that it goes.
Okay.
And that is exactly the I get inspired by my photographic memory and what I see and things like that. And that's mostly it. Like,
So-
I love children, and mainly children of Sri Lanka.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had a theme called Smiles of Sri Lanka.
Okay.
It was a very, very, very popular thing. Very popular in the sense I didn't do it purposely, but a lot of people came and they never bought one painting.
Okay.
They want a set of it, so at least 2 or 3
Okay.
they bought. So, and because I think smiles is a luxury that Sri Lanka is having. The smile. You go to another country, you don't get a smile. I mean, very rarely you get the way we smile at
Is different.
is different.
We are not known as the most hospitable people on the world for nothing now, are we?
Yeah, but I'm not referring to the adults and things like
Children
that.
specifically.
Mainly children and the older
Okay.
folks. Yeah,
Okay.
they are
Okay.
genuine.
So, Mr. Jayantha Silva, this year's exhibition, it's being held for the 15th time. I hear that you've had a number of exhibitions overseas. Let's speak a little bit about that.
Right. Well, I had a buyer from Australia. He invited me to Australia, and I had a very small exhibition like thing in his boardroom
Okay.
at the Gold Coast,
Okay.
which was very successful, and it went quite well. And other was for the only other place I was in, the Export Development Board. They sponsored me, and I went to India, New Delhi. But that was not an exhibition, that was a trade fair.
Okay.
Of course, I had to stay a bit too long there because it was about half a month. It went on like. So it was a bit boring, staying half a month.
Mr. Jayantha, with so much of talent in you, obviously, which is personified in the pictures that you have drawn by your hand itself, haven't you ever thought about passing on this information, passing on this talent, passing on this expertise to the next generation?
Well, I love to. You mean whether I can teach?
Exactly.
Okay. I love to teach, but unfortunately, as I am not taught, I mean, I haven't learned the subject at all.
Have you tried your hand at it? At teaching?
Well, once, just once, a Royal College invited me and I went, and they had their art day or something like that. I tried to teach them how to draw a face, you know, that type of thing, because I've seen that on internet.
Okay.
But teaching means very much more than that. Like, you know, there are certain things I cannot teach.
Okay.
For instance,
something that you have to discover for yourself.
Exactly. For me, it's an experiment. Almost every painting of mine is an experiment.
So it's a new experience for you yourself.
Every time, yeah.
And I believe that is how you are able to give your viewers, your fans,
Yeah.
a new experience every time that they come to see one of your paintings as well.
Exactly. Because there was one lady who came for one of my exhibitions.
Okay.
And later I found out that she is an artist herself.
Okay.
Artist, professional artist who had exhibitions and all that. She came and asked me whether I can teach.
Okay.
So I said, whom am I referring to? And she said herself.
Okay.
I was shocked and I was highly bucked and, you know, flattered. Right? I said, look, this is my reason. I don't know how to teach.
Okay.
Then she said, okay, you do your painting, don't teach.
Let me watch.
I'll get a group to come and watch you. So then
Did you
I
take
said,
her up on her offer?
no, the point is this, I can't draw or paint or anything when any human being is around. Though human being is my favorite subject, I can't do anything when anybody, not even person far away.
Okay, so it's a very personal connection.
Yeah,
you have
so
with your
usually
works of
I
art.
get up at about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
That's the time that I work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you do sound like a man who loves what he does.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jayantha Silva. Unfortunately,
No, doctor. Sorry.
I beg your pardon. Mr. Jayantha Silva. I gave you a much needed promotion right there. Thank you very much for joining us on our show. It's been lovely having this conversation with you. A little bit of the insight of the life of Mr. Jayantha Silva, who is, as you can see, like I said before, by the work that he has completed himself, a brilliant, brilliant artist and a treasure here in Sri Lanka. We will continue to bring you more and more stories of people like this, people whose lives are not highlighted. Thank you very much, Mr. Jayantha Silva, for that insight into your life and for this lovely conversation.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Thank you, you too.
And thank you very much to our viewers out there for watching us. Take care and God bless.